Hello everyone, Alaudin here from Meribook. I'm really excited to show you how you can use Meribook for your marketing. So in this video, we're just going to focus on the marketing aspect of it, your list building aspect of it. So let me get started. I'm logged into my account here, and this is one of the books that I'm sharing. So if you've been to the getmeribook.com URL, you've seen this page right here. So what I'm doing is I have this book and I have this sign up form, which when a person enters their name and email, they'll be added to view to access this book into their own account. So in regards to your lead magnet content, your subscriber would log in and have access to this book under my subscriptions. So now let me just go into the campaign area and just show you how that works. So this connect icon, I'm going to click on that, and that shows you how many people have signed up for it. So this is your list, and this is, you can have multiple campaigns for the same book. So if you're posting something on your blog page, you can create one campaign. If you're sharing within, a social media account or Twitter, and you want to share a different link, you can create a separate campaign for it and track where users are coming from, so you'll be able to break down your overall subscribers. In this case, I just have one campaign, and it's showing that some 20 people have signed up for it. So when you create a campaign, I'm going to go into the edit section. Basically, this is all you really need. You're just giving it an internal name and, maybe where you're putting it, and then a thank you page. If you want to redirect it to your website, you can do that, and then update the campaign book. And that would be all you really need to do. In regards to connecting it to your other marketing platforms, like your Mailchimp account or even ActiveCampaign, there are multiple ways where you can connect. One is using a webhook. So that's that option right here. And right now we're integrating with those two providers. And then you can do a little bit more, where you have multiple integrations from the autoresponders that you have configured. So if you have Convertbox, Mailchimp, ActiveCampaign, you can do that. All right. So that's the overall, the marketing portion of it. So now the other piece that people have been asking me about is when you share links. So this right here is the connect campaign, and this right here is the share link. So when you are talking directly with somebody and you've already been in chat with them, that's when you would use that. When you don't know the person, that's when you would use the connect. When you actually have an email and you want to invite somebody to your books, that's when you use this. What we're doing here is multiple ways for you to give access to your book. One is the connect, one is the share link, and one is invite. So very broad, less broad, and very specific, right? So you have the user's email here. Here you're chatting with them or talking to them in one way or another. So let me review this real quick. So the share link, I'm actually going to go into the book itself and just give you the structure of the book now. So what I have is I've created 3 chapters, the podcast itself, and then my notes, which are just these 2 chapters, right? And if I were to expand on this, all I did was just embed the podcast itself into the first section. So that's my overall structure for chapter 1. You can call it module, we're just calling it chapters because everybody can understand that, right? So evolution of an enterprise. So that's my second chapter. And then if I expand that, I only have 2 sections in that. And then doing the same thing, you have 8 steps sale process. Again, these are just my notes when I was listening to the podcast. So initially, that was not the plan, right? So when I was listening to the podcast, I found it very helpful. So I'm a big note taker, so I would have, I just go in here and start taking my notes. No intention of making it into a PDF whatsoever, not PDF, into a lead magnet whatsoever, right? So that was my initial goal, just taking the notes from what I was listening to, what I was learning. And then over the last few months, I'm like, okay, well, I want to start promoting the content. So I don't have to convert it into a PDF. I don't have to do any additional work. All I have to do really is go in and make sure the content looks a little bit decent. So in this case, I'm going to open this second chapter. And you can see that this right here is the content that I had, and I just tinkered with it a little bit and make it look a little bit prettier for presentation as a lead magnet. So if you wanted to add images, you could do that. So that's how this turned into a lead magnet. So coming back to my share link concept, what we do here is we enabled the share link here, and this pops up next to it, and there are 2 ways for you to share. One is a direct link, and the other one is to actually embed this into your website or page, wherever you want to. I'm going to open this up, and there's that page right here. So book share, and chances are most of you have probably done this. You enabled the book share, and you're like, what? I don't see anything here. And the reason for that is because we have very fine-grained control over what you want to show, what you want to hide. So if you look at this first chapter, the Founder Podcast itself, you don't see this is enabled, right? So if I were to enable that chapter, what we've done is basically coming back here. If I were to refresh it, it takes that permission, and now it says, okay, now I have access to the Founder Podcast chapter, but within that chapter, there's no section getting displayed. So very granular again. I'm going to come back and let's say open that section and now enable that. Come back to my share link. Let me refresh it again. And you have the chapter. Now if I expand it, I have the section. What I'm going to do is actually log in into incognito and show you how that works now. So just in case you're wondering, this is a non-logged in user, and the only permission I have is within this one book, I only have the first chapter and the first section that I can view. Right, so I can go back up, go back to the book level. So the UI consistency is there, just like you're using it within Meribook, even when you're sharing it. So now, if I were to go in to my second, on a shared link still. All right, so let's say if I go into the second one, and at this level, the chapter itself is not shared, right? So I'm going to go in, and the platform, which is a section in chapter 2, that is shared. But we're not seeing that here, right? Because even though the section from chapter 2 is enabled, chapter 2 itself is not enabled. So this person who has access to the book does not have permission to chapter 2, and that's why you're not seeing anything inside chapter 2. So let's say if I go here and copy this link, which is just a share link just for the section itself. No chapter, no book, no nothing, right? And I'm going to open that up in a new window and just share that. Now this person with this link only has visibility just for that one section. They can click up and down, they don't know how many chapters you have. They just see the book and then the breadcrumb, but this is all they see, right? So again, it can get really complicated if you wanted to, but overall, from a marketing perspective, what you could do is you can say, hey, here's a link, check out my, first chapter and first section. And then below that, if you were to embed this in your page, below that, you can come back and say, hey, if you want to see more, sign up to get access to it. And they would have access to the whole book in that case, right? So many possibilities. Hopefully that clears up a lot of questions that have been coming in. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to post it within the page here. All right, thanks. Bye.